Of course, Patek Philippe launched the Nautilus 5811. What did you expect? Let's talk about it. No, you can't have one. Well, you can if you have the Stone family on speed dial and you have $68,000 lying around. For the rest of us normal mere mortals, it's not going to happen. This is a precious metal Nautilus. It's going to be scarce.
Very good. Very good. You know something? No soup for you!
There's going to be a steel version, have no doubt. Patek haven't said anything. They're going to milk the white gold version for a significant amount of time, but eventually there will be a steel version. My personal guess is 2 years' time, and you just have to be aware that by that time, the new MSRP of a steel Patek Philippe is going to be significantly higher than the outgoing 5711 was priced at. I would be really interested to hear where you place your bets in this regard. Comment below. Where everybody else seems to be making smaller watches, this watch is actually bigger than the outgoing version. How it wears in reality, though, I don't know. It's only 1 millimeter bigger. I personally will likely never know, but it's still a curious fact that it has actually grown in diameter. For $69,000, you get almost 45 hours of power reserve. You're clearly not paying for state-of-the-art technology here. It's updated, but nowhere near what the likes of Rolex, Tudor, and Omega can do. But I suppose that's not the point of having a Patek. Okay, maybe they didn't lie, but the discontinuation of the 5711 line was a little disingenuous. For the regular consumer, it may have sounded like Mercedes is discontinuing the S-Class, where the real way they should have put it would be Mercedes is discontinuing the W222 and replacing it with the W223, which they did, by the way, in 2020. There was always going to be a successor, and this is it. The whole process of announcing a discontinuation and then milking it with some special editions and finally releasing a new model a year later is iffy at best. It's almost as stupid as the whole moon swatch availability kerfuffle. In my previous video, I spoke a little about how the Pelagos 39 was a mix of tool, heritage, and fashion watch. The Pelagos has design elements that allude to heritage, but it's sporadic, and for those in the know, it didn't seem consistent. Some will see the Pelagos as gull wings on a C-Class or something like that. Not so with the Nautilus, I think. The new update is really restrained, but it does, in fairness, reference historical cues, especially with the two-part case construction, which also means they had to make changes to how the movement assembles. The updated clasp is a very welcome addition. There is something in the new Nautilus for aficionados to geek out about here and there, and I do think that Patek does care deeply about their heritage.
Exciting day today because this morning I had my first drive in the new 911. And it's a very good thing.
It's not
it's an
new,
excellent
Richard.
car.
It isn't new.
Well, it is new.
It isn't.
That's the new 911.
OK, right. We've got a photograph here of the one before. Wow. And let's have a look at the one before that. Wow.
The downside of minor iterational changes to a classic design also means that some will see this as a lazy or an even bullshit move. First lying about the discontinuation and then releasing a very similar watch. It's the combination of the two actions that gives off a weird vibe. But having said that, it's a Nautilus. There's just a limitation as to how much you can reasonably change the design. It has to be restrained. My own take on all of this is that the 5711 was due an update, and also it was vastly overhyped. The business risk was Patek becoming a one-trick pony, which for a while was the Royal Oaks problem. The Stone family alluded to this problem in statements made when they discontinued the 5711. So what do you do when your cash cow is potentially turning into a liability for the rest of your product line? Well, releasing the 5811 immediately would have just moved the hype from the 57 to the 58 without taking off the pressure. So you discontinue the entire line, or rather you discontinue the entire line. You wait a year, release a precious metal model, and then you wait what I think is 1 to 2 years before reintroducing the steel. You get an automatic cool down period where consumers are aware that there is no steel model to be had, but the hype is still there. The limited editions and the new white gold model maintain a level of buzz around the product without actually having to deliver on demand. Also, I bet that much like the you can't have a Rolex, so you'll buy this instead effect, I think some people will take a look at other models in Patek's line as fallback options. Not everybody will just try to get a Royal Oak or an Overseas instead. Some will get a different Patek. There's a clear business calculation component to this decision, and as much as it's about heritage and protecting a legacy, it's just really janky messaging though. They also released other stuff. I honestly wish people would get off the integrated bracelet sports watch trends and take a look at, for example, the new green chronograph with perpetual calendar. It's a $68,000 watch, and if you don't have that, there's a green Portofino chrono from IWC. It has a very similar vibe. Patek has so many other fabulous watches. Check them out. Does it matter? This watch is not about having it. The Nautilus could never disappear forever. It's an icon. Lazy update or faithful iteration. It's two sides of the same coin. This watch is the Lamborghini poster on the wall in your childhood bedroom. This watch is the Pamela Anderson poster from Baywatch on your bedroom wall. It's a dream, it's a hope, and with this new release, the dream stays alive. Most of us will never own one. Many of us will never ever see one in the metal, but it's there in our dreams, and I, for one, am glad that it exists. So what do you think about the Patek Philippe release of the 5811? What do you think of the watch? Do you think there'll be a steel model? Give me your thoughts. Comment below. And thanks for watching it. See you around.